Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host, here with my co-host, Lammy Chillmeister. Today is July 29th, 2024. I have a bunch of stuff channel related that I need to get out of the storage unit. I need a top hat. I have a top hat, and I need it because today's episode is literally going to be me trying to get rid of all my old notes and podcasting subject ideas, because I got a new notepad and this one finally filled up. And I need to do a draw, like Kill Tony, on what we're going to talk about. So, today's going to be a little all over the place. It's a conspiracy compilation, conspiracy combination. It's July 29th, 2024. I don't know if I said that, but I always like to say that, so that way, if I put this episode out on Rumble like a year from now, you know why the news is old news. Because I'm uploading all my backlog onto Rumble. Let's see, as far as the intro, if you've been listening like 2 episodes ago, I did a little intro talking about this swinger couple that my wife is real scared and real paranoid about. She doesn't want to hang out with them and stuff. We gave them I think it was $20 the other day because they needed some money, because they're in the same situation as me and Sammy. He's living with his mother-in-law and taking care of her, and she's on a breathing machine, and they just needed some money and shit. So I gave it to him. I was like, hey, if you pay me back, you pay me back. But I'm not boasting about it, because I know you're not supposed to boast about good deeds that you do. But, yeah, they want to hang out and shit now, and Sammy doesn't want to hang out with them because they're swingers. And I told her, I said, just take it as a compliment, because the girl has already said oh, your wife's cute, and they've already said they're looking for a girl, and I'm like, I'll put my foot down and be like, look, we don't share. And I told Sammy, don't be freaked out, just take it as a compliment. She's like, but I'm scared she'll be checking me out the whole time. And I'm like, isn't that a good thing? I don't know about you, but as someone who's getting older, 33 years old, there's that 33 again. Dun, dun, dun. Someone's gonna get me. Abe Williams is exposed. Illuminati confirmed. But as someone who's getting older, I just take it as a compliment. If somebody wants to fuck me or fuck my wife, it's we're obviously going to say no and be respectful, but take it as a compliment, dude. But yeah, his girlfriend got her tonsils removed and he was wanting to hang out. He's been stuck at the hospital, and I don't know. I feel bad for the guys. So, bucket pool, the first bucket pool. First bucket pool. This is fucking hilarious and retarded. And yes, I use the hard R word because I was in special ed. I'm not going to rehash that shit. I was put into the special ed ward in Northwest Elementary in Florida, Pasco County. So, this is hilarious, and anyone doing this is fucking retarded. After the Trump assassination, they had the RNC rally, and hundreds of people are all wrapping their ears in bandages out of solidarity. First of all, it looks fucking retarded, and I feel bad for anyone who's not a super Republican conservative and just got their ear pierced and has band-aids on their ear, or someone who has gauges and has to cover it up for work. Or if you just happen to hurt your ear and have it bandaged up, because now you look like a conservative, right-wing, Republican, Christian idiot. Sucks to be you. But yeah, go look it up, man. It's fucking hilarious. Just like hundreds of people all looking retarded with fucking bandages on their ears. I don't know. I thought it was funny. I understand the whole solidarity thing. Like, if my wife got cancer, I would shave my head with her, you know. To me, that's beautiful and sweet. And it actually means something. And look, I don't have TDS. I voted for Trump. I'm voting for RFK this time, but I did vote for Trump. But I understand like certain solidarity shit like that, like shaving your head if your sister or your husband or your wife has cancer. That to me is sweet. And by the way, I don't think it's right what happened the other day. I've been reporting on it, so go watch those videos. I think it's disgusting that Trump almost got his head blown off. I'd rather see him in the White House than Biden. But this, and I have to bring it up again, but this whole solidarity, he got his ear barely nicked. Yes, it was a close call. Yes, it was scary. I'm admitting that. But I feel like, dude, like I keep hearing content creators who are like Christians who are saying, we need to pray for Donald Trump, for President Trump. But I don't hear any of them mentioning the firefighter who died. I don't hear anyone saying we need to pray for the firefighter's family, the daughter and the wife who were there and watched their husband and father fucking die on the ground. None of these Christian conspiracy channels are bringing that up and saying, hey, we need to pray for that dude's family because, yeah, it was scary for Trump. Let's pray for Trump's protection. But our first and main priority as far as praying, it should be the firefighter's family. Just saying. So if you're wearing a bandage on your ear, you're a fucking idiot. That's it for that segment. Yes, Lemmy, let's see what the next pull is. No, not that one. I don't like that one. Nope, not that one. This one's good. Since we're on the subject of Trump, let's talk about this a little more. And this, okay, I was watching the news. Yes, I watched the news because some of it is reality. Not all of it. Here and there, they actually do have reality when it comes to the news. You just have to dig through the bullshit and use your discernment, which you should be praying for also, along with that firefighter's family. Trump, I was watching the polls on the news, and this was WKYT, so it wasn't like CNN, it wasn't like Fox, it wasn't any of the main ones. Needless to say, the smaller news channels are controlled, but I do not, in my personal opinion, believe that they're as controlled as like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. I believe that where they're further down the pyramid, there's less control, and sometimes shit slips through the cracks. I think that happens with BBC a lot. With this recent Trump assassination attempt, there was some interviews, like the crazy hair guy. There was some crazy interviews that slipped through on the BBC that wouldn't have slipped through on MSNBC or CNN, because it's British, not American. And someone didn't get memos correct. And if you guys remember 9/11, BBC was the one who talked about building number 7 falling before building number 7 fell. So, BBC, I keep my eye on BBC because apparently they're either fucking up, purposely slipping shit through. I don't know. Shit gets slipped through on BBC. Keep your eye on BBC. That's just my advice. But, long story short, I was watching the news last night with my mother-in-law, and Trump is losing He's not losing in the polls altogether, but he's losing respect, I guess would be the word. Interest. He lost several points of like people being interested in voting for him. I have a theory that it's because at one of his most recent rallies, now, I watch the footage and I do my research on shit, but I can't do my research digging around super deep every single fucking rabbit hole. Otherwise I'd go insane, you know. But one of his most recent rallies, I think it was in front of like a church or something. It could have been like a Christian rally, Christian-based rally, maybe like a Christian conservative rally, something like that. He said, he was talking about Christianity, and he literally said, you know, y'all are Christians. I'm not a Christian, but you're Christians. And I don't know if that was a Freudian slip, if something slipped out in general, that he didn't mean to say that. By the way, dude, it rained this morning and it's been cooler lately. I'm wearing a long sleeve right now because I actually got chilly yesterday. But it rained this morning and it's heating back up again. It is humid as fuck in Kentucky. Just saying, so if you see me sweating, that's what it is. There's your Kentucky weather report. But I don't know if it was a Freudian slip, if he just let it slip that he's not a Christian. I've been saying this for years. And no one listens to me because they probably think, oh, you're a libtard. You look like Antifa. You're not a Christian, so we don't pay any attention to you. We don't want to listen. You're retarded. You're dumb. Fuck you. You're Illuminati, you know, because you practice witchcraft. I've been saying this for years. When I hear all these conservatives and Q-tards and right-wing conspiracy theorist channels and shit saying how Trump is David. Trump's a Christian. No, he's fucking not. He used to hang out with Epstein. He was a millionaire. He used to pay porn stars to piss on him and shit. He's not a fucking Christian. Every time him and Melania are around each other, she literally looks miserable. She won't even hold his hand and shit. She doesn't like being touched by him. They need marriage counseling, quite frankly, when you watch the footage of them together. She looks unhappy as fuck, and it's probably because he's a fucking horn dog. A man whore. So when I hear these people like, oh, he's selling Bibles, he's a Christian. No, he's fucking not. Anyone could sell a Bible. I could sell a Bible. If I was a millionaire or a politician, you know. And every politician has to say they're Christian. You know that, right? They all have to say they're Christians. Like Thomas Jefferson, he's a Christian. Did you know that Thomas Jefferson literally used to rip up the Bible for fun? That was one of his pastimes. He would get drunk at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and rip Bibles up for fun and order more Bibles. That was his pastime. That's how much he hated Christianity. And he was a Freemason. They all were Freemasons. All of the fucking forefathers were Freemasons. Get over it. This is a Freemasonic nation. It's not a Christian nation. Get over it. Yeah, he's not a Christian. I've been saying that for years, and finally to hear him admit it, I go, and y'all called me crazy. Y'all called me stupid. All of these fucking stupid conspiracy channels and these stupid people in comment sections going, oh, he's a Christian. He's the new David. Oh, yeah. How dare you say he's not a Christian? Oh. That being said, now that he's admitted it and you know that he's not a fucking Christian, he's not a Republican either. He's been a Democrat his entire life. He is a rhino. And I've explained this to people. Trump is a fucking rhino. He switched to the Republican Party when he was running against Hillary in 2016. He's always been a Democrat. I think that's why people love him, because he's a classic liberal like me, an old school Democrat like me, like RFK. That's why people love him. He's not a fucking Republican, dude. He's a rhino. And people hear rhino and dino and gyno and they think it automatically means bad shit. Rhino does not automatically mean that you're evil or that you're a bad person. I like Trump a little bit, you know. Not gonna vote for him, but I'd rather see him than Biden. I'm not talking shit on the dude. But he is a fucking rhino. He's a Republican in name only. He's a Democrat at heart. The only reason he switched to rhino Republican was because he was running against Hillary. He knew if he ran as a Democrat, for one, the DNC would have kicked him out and Hillary would have won. The only way he had a chance of beating Hillary was to be in the Republican Party. Okay. Do you believe me? I don't care. But I said this 1,000 times on this channel that he's not a Christian, and everyone thought I was crazy, and everyone gave me hell in comment sections and shit. I was right. I was right about that. Am I going to be right again? We'll find out. Next segment. So this one's a fun one. Now that we did a shotgun blast of 2 fun conspiracies, I have downloaded a new thing on my phone. It's called OBS, which is kind of like I can stream. I can either go live or I can just record as a stream so you guys can watch videos along with me. I can do comments on it, upload it as podcast and shit. It's definitely opened my world up, and I haven't really, we used it once as a trial, and the episode, I'm not gonna lie, kind of turned out like dog shit. It is what it is. It's my first time using it, and it was when Sammy had just come back to podcasting as a co-host, and she hadn't done it in like forever. So I would rather actually just find the video and show you all, but I'm going to have to explain it. But it's insane, and it's a fun conspiracy, this one. So this is kind of a good poll. Maybe I'll do a poll on YouTube as a post. How many of you all are dog owners? I'm a cat owner, but I prefer dogs. To me, and I do love cats too. I have 2 of them. You guys have seen how I interact with them. You guys have heard how I talk about them. I love my kitty cats, especially my Lilith. That's my little baby. She sleeps with me. She's my little cuddle bug. She's loud as hell, but that was because we got her off the street. She's my sweetheart. And my mother-in-law keeps trying to kidnap her from me. But I grew up with a little Dachshund. His name was Spanky. And if you're a dog owner, you get it. You understand this, especially if you owned a dog as a child. And I remember I would be hanging out with Spanky outside and laying next to him on the porch in Florida. And I would be trying to get my dog to talk. And I'd go, Spanky, we're alone. I know you can talk. I know you can. And I thought it was just me. I thought I was just a crazy child. And my dad one time was like, y'all ever try to get your dog to talk? And we're like, yeah. And all 4 of us boys, or at least 3 of us, because I think my oldest brother might have been moved out. We were all like, yeah, like, and he's like, yeah, I used to do that as a kid with my dogs. I used to try to get them to talk. So, if you were a dog person and you grew up with dogs, and if you've ever done that, hit me up in the comments, because I feel like everyone as a child was trying to get their dog to talk. They knew that their dog could talk, and they tried to gain trust and be like, look, no, I'm not going to tell anyone. Just please talk to me. I won't tell anyone, ever. It'll be our little secret. So there's a video that was going viral and going around, and this guy was filming his dog secretly. By the way, it looked like he was in like he had to have been a millionaire. And this thing looked like a poodle, like puffy afro, puffy ears, one of those curly looking dogs. My brother had a dog that looked kind of like him. His name was Bayleaf. I'm not sure what kind of dog it was, but I'm thinking it's like poodle or something. But anyways, this dog was sitting on this like luxurious looking staircase that was kind of like the staircase with two metal rails and like hollow, so you could kind of see through it if you're underneath it. It wasn't like a solid one, because it looked like some sort of like millionaire beach house. And he was secretly coming around the corner and recording his dog. And it's been getting passed around in all these like YouTube watch along Vine reaction channels, like conspiracy reaction channels, which there's a billion of them now. Kind of jealous too, because I feel like it's all black people and they're all being able to cover stuff that I was getting strikes for in the past, and like now they're able to just cover it and shit and not get in trouble. Ain't gonna lie, there's a little bit of jealousy. I'm like, oh, so I'm the wrong color. I'm a white dude. If I was black and reacting to it and not podcasting about it, maybe then I'd be allowed to do it and talk about it and shit. But the guy was recording him, and he's seen his dog sitting upright like a human being with his hands on his knees, sitting on one of the steps, looking out to the beach, the ocean view. And then he went around another corner like a pillar or something, and as soon as the dog could hear him, he went back to sitting like a normal dog and he stopped sitting like a human being. So people are saying it's a skinwalker. By the way, you're not supposed to say that word, because when you say it, it's like shooting up a flare. They can hear it and they literally run towards you and try to find you and shit, but I'm in the city, so I should be fine. People are saying it's a skinwalker. People are saying, oh, dogs can actually speak English and they can actually walk on hind legs, and they're just hiding it from us. They're actually like a really smart and highly technological, kind of like Dogs in Space, the cartoon. I don't know. A fun conspiracy. That's one I pulled out of the hat. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. Next conspiracy. Let's see. Tennessee. And I wanted to cover this because I have a brother, and I won't say who out of respect, because he doesn't want his identity known, and I understand. I get it. I have a brother who lives out in Tennessee. Good news and celebration time. Yay! Tennessee has outlawed chemtrails. So, I'm not going to sit here and argue the semantics of chemtrails and contrails and all that bullshit. They outlawed chemtrails. That's all you need to know. If you want to do a deeper dive into it, go for it. But that's good news. I'm happy. Kentucky, we need to do the same thing. And you know what it is? And I tell this to people all the time. People think that voting doesn't matter. And people think that politicians, they're all controlled. I don't think so. Because if voting didn't matter, why would they try to steal elections so hard, especially when it comes to presidency? Also, I think that voting definitely matters and should be focused on when it comes to local politics. If everyone can get involved with school boards, if everyone can get involved with their local politicians, politics, their local voting, even just keeping track, when I lived in Harrodsburg, I lived in a small town. I moved to Lexington now, so I have to learn the local politicians and who has power and the gossips and politics of it all. Literally, the politics of it all. I have to learn who's in power here, but I learned all that shit in my old small town that I lived in. For one, it helped that I used to bartend for everyone. I was bartending for sheriffs. I was bartending for chief of police. I was bartending for the mayor. I was bartending for secretaries of the mayor. I learned it all. Do the same for your community. Learn your local politicians. Learn who's in power. Learn their beliefs. Start voting in local elections for sheriff, for judges, for mayors, because I do believe that we can make a change. And if everyone had that mindset, chemtrails could be illegal all across the United States, not just Tennessee. So, Kentucky, this is a call to arms. If you are listening and you live in Kentucky, I live in Kentucky. And like I said, I need to learn my local politicians' names and shit. I just moved here to Lexington from Harrodsburg. So let's all get on it, baby. This is homework for you all. I know you hate it. Abe's assigning homework. We need to everyone. This ain't even just Kentucky either. This is everyone but Tennessee. Apparently they're the only ones doing their homework. We all need to start getting into school boards, local elections, who's sheriff, electing sheriffs, mayors, all that shit. That's why I think it's important. Chemtrails are now illegal in Tennessee. Thank you, Jesus. Let's do a true crime segment. Next pull. Danny Masterson. I actually wanted to cover him in the past when everything was going down as far as his rape allegations and stuff, and where it was tied in with Scientology. I wanted to get into it, but I cannot remember what was going on at the time, but there was more important shit to talk about at the time, so I never really covered it. But he got locked up. We all know the story. Long story short, he was found guilty. I think he has to spend 10 years in prison. I could be wrong, but I think it was 10 years. He's been locked up. And dude, every gang in there wants his ass. Whether to rape or beat up or kill. So, at first the GBG in the local prison that he's in wanted to get him. What's GBG? Gay boy gangsters. The gay boy gangsters wanted to get him. But then another gang stepped in, the BBC, which is Bros by Choice. Apparently they're like a knockoff version of Aryan Brotherhood, as far as I understood, as far as my digging went. So I mean, I guess they're similar to like Peckerwoods. They're a knockoff of Aryan Brotherhood, but they're like white supremacist, the BBC. Danny Masterson's, somebody gave him a heads up, so he knew that people were looking to get his ass, man. And he's been going on hunger strike. Now, they'll let you go hungry for a little bit. What up, dude? Hang on just a second. Hunger strike. Let me try to remember that. Jesus Christ. Speak of the devil and they will appear. That was that couple that I was telling you about at the beginning in the intro. The swinger couple. They're good people. I love them to death, but she had her tonsils taken out, so they pulled up. They seen my car sitting here, and I told you about White Rabbit, the conspiracy mobile. It's got bumper stickers all over it. It's an easy fucking car to spot. So he seen me. He's like, let's go talk to Abe for a little bit, which is fine. She got her tonsils taken out, and poor guys are broke as a joke, living in a trailer just like me. She's bitching about her throat. All she has is ice cream and soup at the house. And I'm like, hey, can you do throat spray? She said, no, I'm not allowed to do throat spray. It's chemicals and it needs to heal. I'm like, okay, honey, You got honey? No. All right, well, I'm going to go into the store and get you some honey. Okay. Abe, can you get me a bag of chips? I guess. Try not to brag about good deeds, but shit, that's what took me a minute. It's going to be a cut, though. What was I saying, though? So Danny Masterson was going on a hunger strike because he found out, probably from an outside source that knew, called him up, was like, hey, what was the gangs called again? Yeah, here we go. The GBG and the BBC are looking for you. And they're both fighting over who gets to beat your ass. So he was going on a hunger strike because prison, you have to go to the food court, the cafeteria, to get your food. So he's been going on a hunger strike. Now, they'll let you go about 2 days, and then on day 3, the guards are coming to get you and forcing you to eat. And if you don't come to the cafeteria and eat, they're going to take you to the hospital, and they're going to put a feeding tube down your throat. You know, they'll keep an eye on you and make sure you're eating, and they'll keep track if you're eating and going to the cafeteria. You can't hide forever. So 2 guards came down and was escorting him to the cafeteria, and that's when he got jumped by the BBC. 2 guys from the BBC jumped his ass. Now, the 2 guards stepped back and allowed it to happen. Other guards seen what was going on, either through cameras or just seen it. They jumped in and broke it up and stopped it. But, yeah, Danny Masterson's got his ass kicked in prison, which is good because he's a rapist and a piece of shit and a Scientologist, and I don't care if that offends you or not. Fuck Scientology. I'm old school anonymous, baby. Back when anonymous was cool. But basically, he's been sent to a penal colony, which is kind of like an old people's home for prisoners, and it's less protection, or less guards and shit, so less security. There's people out there saying, oh, he's gonna try to escape. He might, I don't know, I wouldn't put it past him if there's a hit on his head. But that's about it for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. It was, like I said, a conspiracy compilation. A little bit all over the place, but I've been trying to run through this old notepad and go through stuff that I've been wanting to talk about. The last story was a little old, but who cares? Stories are stories. News is news. I hope you all have a good day. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let me say goodbye. Okay. Love y'all.